the foothills of the Andes and approaching one of the most mysterious archaeological finds in history. Along a rocky range in Peru, you may notice something strange. Well, it's like a giant motorcycle has driven along a mountain and left a tire mark. However, the lower you go, the less it looks like a tire track. This is something even more bizarre. These are thousands of holes in the ground that could fit a space hopper. These are so many that they stretch in several rows along the mountainside. If you stand next to the first pit, you wouldn't be able to see the last one in the distance. Well, there is so many mystery inside this place, right? But what this place called? This place is called the Band of Holes, and for decades, scientists couldn't figure it out what it was. However, it now seems that the mystery has been solved. But before you're going to dig the solved mystery, if you don't subscribe to my channel, just subscribe. Also follow me on Insta and medium.com. Okay, then let's get started. It's unlikely that you will be able to guess what it is. But there are some theories for you. A trail of small excavator holes about 1 mile long was created by an extraterrestrial civilization to communicate with space. These holes were dug by ancient people to collect water during the rain. A large country used these holes to collect taxes. In the past, geologists made these holes to collect condensation from the fog. Farmers dug those pits to grow crops there. Perhaps these are small dungeons for people to sit in and defend themselves during enemy attacks. Or maybe there are graves. The mysterious trail is very similar to a geoglyph. Geoglyphs are giant patterns on the ground that can be seen from a great height. These patterns are created by removing the topsoil, then workers place stones or plant trees on the bare land. So the Band of Holes is probably a geoglyph, but it's quite strange. It's not a pattern or a drawing, but just a straight line running through a mountainous area. So what are your assumptions? For now, let us take a closer look at this thing. For the first time, the Band of Holes was noticed by area photographer Robert Shippey in 1931, so these pits have been there for quite some time. There are about 5 to 6,000 of them here. Some of them are dug into ground mounds, while others are in stone formations. This means that the creators didn't care about the quality of the soil, so these pits were hardly used for growing crops. Well, if these were graves, scientists would have found human remains there. But there was nothing like that. Besides, these pits are not deep enough to be graves. So we got to discard the idea that this road was made by inhabitants of another planet. Because, come on, that's just not serious. Then what is it? A defensive line or markers for travelers? If people had fired arrows from these holes or stored any evidence there would surely be traces left, right? But there is nothing like that. Nothing that would indicate battles. But surely there was something else there. Any artifacts? Yes. Scientists have found traces of corn and wild plants that were used to weave baskets, so they kept baskets with corn here. No, rather they arranged pits with these plants and then placed the corn and other goods in them. Then it's something like a show window. That is, hundreds of people come here, dug holes and put their goods inside. Thousands of other people pass by and choose what to buy. What if it's an ancient supermarket or shopping mall and these pits were shelves? Right now, we are much closer to solving this mystery. Yes, people dug those pits in order to put goods inside and measure them. 1 bit of corn, 1 bit of cotton, 1 bit of hot pepper. It was something like a measurement system instead of pounds. But they didn't do it for trading. To fully understand what was happening here, we need to determine exactly where this market was located, in which country it was built, and who lived there. Near the Band of Holes, archaeologists have also discovered the remains of warehouses in the Inca civilization. There were pieces of pottery that indicated that the period around the 15th century. It was during this period that the Inca civilization conquered the Chinchi people. They were a pre-Columbian native people living on the southwestern coast of what is now Peru, and in the 15th century they encountered the Incas. They were American Indian people who created a gigantic empire even before Columbus discovered America. The Incas inhabited the territories of Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, and Argentina. This civilization was famous for its advanced state structure as well as for building extensive networks of roads and majestic cities. As an empire, the Inca lasted from the mid 15th to the mid 16th centuries before getting conquered by the Spanish. Okay, the picture is getting clearer. The Incas came to the Chinchi territory and conquered it. But why did they force them to dig these holes, or did they not force anyone? To answer this question, let us look at what is nearby. Next to the band of holes was a large Inca administrative center, and not far from these pits, the Inca built a road leading to it. Negotiations, trade, calculations of profits, and the distribution of food and other goods likely took place at this center. The Incas didn't have money, as we understand it. They didn't pay with coins, much less paper notes, but they needed to collect tribute from the conquered peoples. So they came up with a system for exchanging goods. The only problem was how to properly calculate the amount of corn, pumpkin, pepper, and other stuff. They didn't have scales, but they came up with another way: holes. The Chinchi had to fill the pits with their goods, and then the Incas would collect them, taking them to the administrative center. The pits may have been distributed among individual Chinchi families. Each of them paid the Incas. That's how it happened. The Inca troops, which included guards, accountants, and officials, were traveling toward the administrative center. Along the way, they stopped at the band of holes where people had already laid out their goods. The Incas loaded everything into carts and then took it into the base and counted it there. India says this is what paying taxes looked like about 600 years ago. Okay, you have just found out the answer to one of the most confusing archaeological mysteries. Scientists have spent a lot of time and effort to crack it. So, what do you think about this archaeological mystery? Well, that is for today. So, if you like this video, just subscribe, like, share. Bye everyone!